Oh boy, look at all this snow. I guess I will be lining some reels in the garage. Alright, I want to let you know before I start spooling the reels that my boat may actually be at the East Tennessee Fishing Show at the end of the month. That is if the dealership doesn't change their minds. There's 100 reasons why they might actually change their minds at showing off my boat. I pretty much use it every single weekend, so there are scratches, there's skipjack guts, there's everything all over this boat. So they might change their minds. If anything, Blue River Carp Catfish Bait will also be at the East Tennessee Fishing Show, which is a giant bass fishing event. So please find the Blue River Carp Catfishing Bait booth and buy a couple of catfish bait bags from him. They are pretty cheap and it does work. Now the rod and reel that I'm spooling today is an Akuma Cold Water CW203D. It's a right-hander and it's paired with a 7-foot 6-inch Akuma Battle Cat. These are my current primary rods I use for catfishing, and they are capable of catching 100-pound class fish easily. And the line that I'm going to use is 30-pound Ande Monster line. Now, you're going to think, 30-pound, that's not enough for a 100-pound class fish. Well, yes it is. I have seen multiple 100-pound class fish over 100 pounds, or around 100 pounds that have been caught with 30-pound monofilament. And the Ande Monster line is my favorite line because it is strong. I think it's actually stronger than 30 pounds. It also casts really, really, really good. Now I'm hoping that I have enough left over on here for both of these reels, because I don't have another spool of it. Now I do have kind of a unique setup for spooling my line here, especially with one of these big rolls. I have a chain that I put through it. It doesn't really put tension on the line. However, this is only monofilament. I'm not dealing with braid. If you want to spool braid on a reel, it needs to be as tight as possible. But with monofilament, you can get away with it being a little bit loose. The chain itself on this setup will give it a little bit of drag. Now, of course, I'll put the line through all the eyes. Try not to miss an eye. And then I have to fish it into the reel itself. It does have a slight bend to it, so I will take that bend and try to use it as an advantage to put it underneath the spool. And there's enough room for me to put my fingers in there on this reel to grab the line. And then on the top, there's enough room for me to put my finger in here to grab the main line. So it's kind of a loop. This part is going out to the spool. This part is going around the spool. Take and put a knot on the end of your line. And then cut off the tag end, which I don't have any cutters with me at the moment. All right. Cut off the tag end. You can have a little bit left over. It's not going to hurt anything. And then figure out which one's the main line going to the spool. Wrap this line where the knot is around it and do an overhand knot. And then when you pull on this, it will pull everything together. And I got the clicker on. And that is a very solid connection to the spool. Then I'll hold the line. Make sure I get the first few winds right. And then I'm going to move over here and reel it the rest of the way on. I'm going to be using my finger for a little bit extra tension. Okay. On this spool, I like to take it right up to the orange. There's a little bit of orange on these cold waters. I don't know if you can see that or not, but I consider that full. And that's how I spool line on here. Now I'm going to show you a new rig that I'm going to put on this one rod and reel. Hopefully this new rig will be displayed at the East Tennessee Fishing Show on the boat. I'm going to take 2 rods as, you know, props to put on the back of the boat in my rod holders. Of course, I got to cut my line first. The new rig is this Slunger Cat dual hook dragging rig. These are 2 8/0 hooks, a float, and a little double swivel for your dragging weight. I am also now an affiliate of Slunger Cat, and that's because I was impressed with this rig. It has a proper snell on the main hook. It looks like a straw snell to me, so it's not going to come apart. These are good rigs. And if you're like me, you really don't have time to pre-rig everything. So it's great to be able to pay some individual like Chris Saunders to make pre-rigs like this. And if you go to the Slunger Cat website and use the discount code BILLY10, BILLY10, you will get 10% off your order. I think it's a win-win situation. However, there is one thing I'm going to warn you of. You need to make sure this is legal in your state. I can have up to 3 hooks on one rig in Tennessee. So this double hook rig is legal. They also make multiple sizes if you want bigger or smaller hooks. Now let me unwrap this. That's cool. So here's where your dragging weight is and where it hooks up to your main line. And then there is a hook in the middle, and then you got your float, and you got your other hook. So double your chances at getting a fish while dragging. Now this is a typical peg float. It's not an EVA foam peg float. But it seems to be better than what you'd get at Walmart, at least. And then on this side, there's a clip that I don't need. I use the Dirty South dragging weights, so I need to take this clip off somehow. There we go, that's easy. And then I can use the dragging weights that I use. Double barrel swivel. He does have this clamped together instead of using a polymer knot. I guess I get to see if this is stronger than a polymer knot. Speaking of polymer knots, that's what I'm going to use to put it on this rod and reel. Alright, with the polymer knot, you put the line through the main swivel on here. And then you put it back through the swivel, making just a giant loop. And see, slides back and forth on the loop. Make an overhand knot. And then in the loop from the overhand knot, put everything through it. Might be a little bit tricky because this is a really long rig with 2 hooks that will hook into the line like it just did. There we go. Around both hooks, around the swivel, I will wet it and tighten it all up. Wetting it helps with the friction. so it doesn't weaken the line. Then I cut off the tag end. And there you have it. Now can I hook this to the rod? I didn't check the length to see if I could. Should be able to. It's about as long as my own dragging rigs that I make. The only downside of having a double hook rig is that it's a double hook. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to put this hook like on an eye above it for storage, because it is a loose hook. And I know that, you know, I'm an affiliate for them or whatever, but I'm going to, you know, show you everything. But still, it's a good rig. Just be careful with it. And now all I have to do is take this fishing after the East Tennessee Fishing Show. Now I am publishing this on Tuesday like I've done in the past for tackle videos, calling it Tackle Tuesday. I might make another attempt to do some more Tackle Tuesday videos in the future. If you really want to see me do more Tackle Tuesday videos, hit that thumbs up and leave a comment below. That way you can tell the Google algorithm that it's okay for me to do a video like this when I'm snowed in or on a rainy day. Now I'm probably going to reline all my reels eventually. I do this about once a year. That's a brand new reel and that's a brand new reel, but on my old reels, all the line is either 1 or 2 years old. So it's about time for me to change them. And since I have a limited amount of the Ande Monster, I'm probably going to try this out. Suffix Titanium Plus 30-pound monofilament. I use Suffix 832 as my braid on the rods and reels that I have braid on, mostly the spinning gear and my musky combos. They say they make good line. Let me know in the comments below, is this good line? Have you used it before? A buddy gave this to me because right now I can't get another spool of Ande Monster, so might as well give this a try, and hopefully it will work just as good as the Ande Monster. Of course, my big worry is it becoming a big slinky mess. Ande Monster doesn't do that, but there are some other more popular lines out there that do become slinky messes, and hopefully it's not this. Alright, I think I will rig that one up and get to editing this video because Tuesday is tomorrow. As always, I want to thank you for taking your time out of your day to actually watch this video. I really appreciate it. And like I said earlier, definitely check out the Slunger Cat website to see the gear that he's selling. It's always nice to buy from an American company that's run by a very nice gentleman who is also really good at teaching people how to catch catfish. And I will do an iCard to his YouTube channel up above right now. Thanks again for watching. Hope to see you next time.